There's a lot of exciting technologies being used in food right now. If you guys could pick one besides one that you're each working on, what would it be?
Wow.
I'd have to say plant-based alternatives. I think there's so many options coming through that this isn't going to be about one company taking all. It's kind of whoever was mentioning, there's different tribes and different companies are springing up to fill demand from each of those. I think it's going to be a real revolution. I come from the UK, and the leading baker in the country has just launched a vegan sausage roll, which is something that, people in their 50s would eat like 40 years ago, and Twitter has gone mad and they're sold out and they're trading at $20 a go on eBay. So it's phenomenal, the change that's happened in just the space of a year, let alone 10 years.
Yeah. I'm really interested in seed technology and and just farming technologies, and actually bringing back some ancient technologies as far as farming and bringing them back to modern day that are much more, equally as effective, if not more effective, than what we have today. We have a huge exhibit next door. You should come and see it, all around biodiversity. And I think that in order to ensure our supply chains, right, in order to ensure that we're able to deliver on new flavor experiences and new food experiences and able to delight eaters and just making sure that we're able to feed ourselves, I think that diversity of what we're planting, so often we talk about farming practices, but we're not actually talking about what we're planting and what people are eating. There are over 300,000 edible plants, and we eat 150 of them. 75% of our food comes from 12 plants and 5 animal species. That's crazy. That means that there's so much opportunity. So I'm excited to see more people dive into those 30,000 plants.
Well, I got like 1 million of them. I don't even know where to begin. Because we've been introduced to this a couple of years ago, so I'm just constantly, wide-eyed when we see these things. There's one, like I spoke at a conference in Ramsey Technology. They have these big harvesters or tractors that use streamed water to cut lettuce, and they run it at something like 10,000, cuts per minute or whatever. And what it does, it removes the stainless steel blade problem of rusting or browning the lettuce, so it actually cuts it pure. And because it's scaled, it can just run through pretty large lettuce field like that.
With water?
With water. And it's recycled, it's captured back in ducts that actually go back into it, and so it doesn't waste into the field unless the farmer wants it, but it's a really remarkable machine. So I look at that and I go, that's just the tip of the iceberg of just what's all out there. And then maybe closer to home, or even, it's personalization of food. Elements that actually tie together your digital experience of food so that it is personalized is really, I think, an amazing future. Your fridge talks to, the Driscoll's package of berries, so you know when it's fresh and not. Your oven is going to automatically heat pork at 145 degrees to optimize the, and on and on. It's like, these things are coming. I think it's exciting.
Were you just at CES? Did
What's
you
that?
see Smart Kitchen? Were you just at CES?
No, I've actually had the good fortune of just seeing all these independently, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough question. You should definitely pop over the Seasoned Chips exhibit and see some awesome new technologies. They're all mind-blowing. But yeah, closer to home, so kind of echoing what Danielle was saying about diversity of ingredients, I want to use that same kind of theme for diversity of materials. So I am super interested in expanding what materials are offered on the marketplace. Including what we create, which is called PHA, but there's a number of new bioplastics, biopolymers, or alternative and sustainable packaging options that are just coming to the fold. So I'm really excited for that space. So I think diversity in general is a good thing, right? I mean, we have most of your plastic is probably made from a few core compounds that are all derivative of oil. And that's a major problem. And so, I'm super excited for that space, not only because we're in it, but there's a number of awesome companies doing not only new materials, but also trying to do some waste upcycling. So if you haven't, I would check out the Seasoned Chips exhibit, but there's another organization called Food System 6. You might have heard Renska speak yesterday. There's some really great technologies in there that are upcycling different co-products into new products like Renewal Mill and Regrained. Shout out to Regrained.
It's really hard because I love what we're doing and I want everyone to do this. But I'm a huge efficiency nerd, and for me, probably it would be tackling food waste with developing novel products.
Yeah.
And so I'm super into the, on my end, we're trying to make the food that we're already eating or is being produced, produce a lot more sustainably. But I think on the flip side is the 40% of the 40% of the food that is produced in the U.S. goes to waste, and so if we're throwing away 40%, I think that's the other missing gap that could tackle a sustainability crisis. So I would totally invest in trying to repurpose that waste and feed it back to people. I think that's a really effective way.